Coming up, a Cowboy who won't be back in the saddle, where the Heisman winner will strike the pose next. Bob, Ley, and Larry Beil join me. This is SportsCenter. Ever feel like you're having one of those days?
Coach, what's your open door, please?
Lots of tough decisions to make.
I want you to know that this decision was a very difficult and emotional one for everyone who is involved.
Maybe you made a bad decision, but don't give up, because there's hope for the future.
So today, January 9th, 1998, Charles Woodson announces.
And just when you think you've got everything figured out, someone surprises you. So if you weren't blessed with the good hops, don't worry. It'll soon be your turn to be famous too. If you come up just short of your goal, hey, stay cool, because SportsCenter's next.
Are you having a good time now, Jerry? I want to tell you, we did it our way, baby. We did it. We did it. We did it.
Welcome to SportsCenter. Well, that was a brief and shining moment in Barry Switzer's reign. His time as Cowboy coach ended today to the surprise of nobody.
You could see this one coming from a mile away today. After ending the season on a 5-game losing streak, finishing with a 6-10 record, it really wasn't a question of if Barry Switzer would be replaced as head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. The question was merely when. Today was the day. Officially, Switzer is resigning with 2 years left on his $1 million a year contract. Switzer won 3 division titles and a Super Bowl in his 4 seasons, but too many appearances on hard copy and too few in the end zone for the Cowboys led to his undoing. And when Switzer was arrested carrying a gun at the airport in Dallas before the season started, well, that may have been the beginning of the end right there. Jeremy Schaap reports.
Fittingly, Barry Switzer, who has won 3 division titles and a Super Bowl championship, but little respect as the Cowboys head coach, couldn't get in the door Friday morning to clean out his desk.
I have a great loyalty to my coaches, and I think they do to me. I'm sad for them, but it's a happy day for me.
Jerry Jones shocked the football world by firing Tom Landry in 1989 and Jimmy Johnson in 1994. But he shocked no one by accepting Switzer's resignation Friday.
After spending the better part of the last 3 weeks analyzing and evaluating our organization as it pertains to production on the football field, we have come to the realization that we must chart a fresh and new path.
But Jones, the Cowboys owner, president, and general manager, refused to blame Switzer for the Cowboys' decline since winning the Super Bowl in January 1996.
It would be very unfair of me to say that our shortcomings on the field over the last 2 years are solely the responsibility of one coach or one player or one assistant coach or any single aspect of the organization. We all share in our inability to achieve our goals over the past 2 years.
Jones declined to name any candidates for the coaching vacancy, but whoever it is, he said, he'll have to win immediately, and he'll have to do it with some of the Cowboys' current assistants, many of whom have recently had their contracts extended. Jones also said the new coach won't be as unlikely a choice as Switzer was 4 years ago.
As you know, Barry, from the very beginning, had a lot of criticism. From the very beginning, from the first day he was hired. It was, as I mentioned earlier, a very difficult situation. I think that it's possible, and a part of my job is to have someone come in here as head coach that isn't saddled with that kind of criticism from the very beginning.
Jones is devoting most of his energy now to the current NFL television contract negotiations and said he doesn't expect to name a new coach until that process is completed. The new coach, whomever it is, will inherit a team that needs more than a caretaker coach. In short, it needs someone more like the driven Jimmy Johnson than the laid-back Barry Switzer. At Valley Ranch, Jeremy Schaap, ESPN.
Thanks, Jeremy. In years past, the Cowboys were at their best at the end of the season, but not this time around. They went in the tank. Boys were 6-5, still in the playoff hunt on November the 16th, but Dallas lost their next 5 games. The defense allowing almost 30 points per during that span, during which the Cowboys were outscored 146-75. And that spelled doom for Barry. Bob?
There were any number of signposts along the way that Barry Switzer's time was drawing to a close. Jones made it clear today that despite all the talk of optimism and a fresh start, that it's his way or the highway. Well, Chris Mortensen's on the football highway tonight. Mort's in San Francisco. Mort, this change has been on the calendar like Groundhog Day, but when did it become inevitable?
Well, even though Jerry Jones said it was an emotional decision, this decision was made around mid-season, Bob. He actually contemplating moving Barry out of the picture, but thought it would be too disruptive. There was one week after the first loss to the Giants between October 5th and October 12th in which Barry Switzer had a very bizarre meeting with his players and claimed he had been up all night drinking, worrying about how the team was playing. That split the team again at that point, and Jerry knew that Barry would never win back his players. He just wanted to wait till the end of the season. I don't think it's any coincidence that he waited on the weekend of the NFC Championship game.
Troy Aikman obviously had been unhappy about this entire situation. Said recently, "I'll be back next year," which everyone took as a signal there would be a change. Looking now to the future, how much will Jones rely on Aikman in picking a coach?
Well, he asked Troy Aikman into his office last week, Jerry Jones did, and Aikman had just basically told Jerry that he did not want to be involved in this process because he didn't want that stigma, either with the fans or with his teammates, of that he is selecting the next coach. Troy had one request: hire a guy with credibility, hire a guy with discipline, somebody who's going to be there the night before the game, somebody who's going to make players show up for meetings. And I think really that's the extent of what Troy wants to do. I think Troy does have a preference for a West Coast offense at this stage, but that's the extent of his involvement.
Well, Jerry Jones, speaking of involvement, is totally involved. His fingers in every part of the pie. What did that involvement on the part of the owner do for Switzer in trying to establish his leadership as a coach?
Well, there are some players and even some coaches in the organization who felt that Barry Switzer could not control these players because they didn't feel they had the answer to Barry Switzer, that they only had the answer to Jerry Jones and so on. In a strange way, Jerry wanted Barry to succeed, but maybe his power and his role as it grew this past season circumvented whatever Barry was trying to do there.
Okay, the $64,000 question. I'm sure Jones is getting a lot of phone calls, but who is he going to call? Who's on his list?
What he has told Aikman and other players is that he is unsure of who the next coach is going to be. He's got a profile. If he had a preference, he would want Norv Turner, the Washington Redskins coach. I've spoken with the Redskins. They are not going to allow any such thing to happen. George Seifert certainly would be on the list. There's been some confusion as to whether Jerry Jones or any team would have to call the 49ers and ask permission to speak with Seifert, since he's technically under contract. But Carmen Policy, the 49ers team president, told me a little while ago that he has waived that and that anybody can contact Seifert right now. So I would think Seifert would be contacted. But otherwise, Bob, it's a mystery.
Okay. Chris Mortensen, thanks a great deal. Later on in our cover story, by the way, we'll take a look at the 4 tumultuous years of Barry Switzer, coexisting with Jerry Jones, winning a ring, trying to keep the good ship Cowboy off the rocks of chaos, bad behavior, and losing. It's all ahead in tonight's cover story. Larry?
More football news. As a junior, Charles Woodson won the Heisman Trophy and a share of the national championship. About the only thing left for him to do at Michigan was maybe coach the team. So Woodson will give up his final year of eligibility. He will enter the NFL draft. Woodson made history as the first defensive player ever to win the Heisman. He dabbled as a wide receiver on offense. He was deadly on special teams as a punt returner. Woodson expected to be a top 5 pick in the upcoming draft.
Yeah, it was a tough decision, like I said, with all the friendships that you make at college. You really don't have any worries in college. Everything is pretty much taken care of for you. All you got to do is practice and go to school. So it was a tough decision for me, something that I really did have to think about. I'll be going into a different arena come next year, the NFL, and just life in general. And I keep the same attitude I've always had. I just take everything head on and try to make the best decisions that's going to be the best decisions for me and for my family.
Will Charles Woodson be the next prime time? As you compare college stats, Woodson has the edge on Deion Sanders, mainly because Deion didn't play any offense at Florida State. Both won the Jim Thorpe Award, which is given annually to the top defensive back in the country. Now, this was decision day for lots of underclassmen. According to Steve Spurrier, Florida receiver Jaquez Green is going pro. He caught 61 passes this season, scored 9 touchdowns. Scatback Amos Zeraway of West Virginia will return for his junior year. Zeraway, exciting, but durability a concern. He's a little guy. Famous Amos in the mold of Barry Sanders wants to take his own shot at the Heisman, and so does this guy, Kevin Falk. The LSU running back, likewise, will return for his senior year. Despite missing 2 games because of injuries, Falk still ran for over 1,000 yards this past season. But Falk won't have Alan Faneca blocking for him next year. The LSU guard is going pro. North Carolina defensive back Robert Williams, he's coming out. Williams considered to be one of the best cover men in the country. And good news for the Qs. Syracuse quarterback Donovan McNabb has decided he will stay in school. Bob?
Mo Vaughn of the Red Sox, by reputation and in fact, is the model of the involved and committed athlete. He is a fixture around the city of Boston with various youth groups. Mo Vaughn was arrested this morning and charged with driving under the influence. This morning at his arraignment in court, he pleaded innocent to the charge after an accident last night on Interstate 95 outside Boston. Police say that Vaughn hit a car abandoned on the shoulder of the highway, flipping his truck over. Vaughn failed a field sobriety test. He was not seriously injured.
By Sunday night, we will definitely know who's going to the Super Bowl. Strange thing this time around, because home teams usually dominant in the playoffs, but the home teams are not favored this weekend. With more as we look ahead to Championship Sunday in the NFL, here's Reese Davis.
Yeah, Larry, that's right. The Broncos are favored despite the fact that the Steelers spanked them at Three Rivers last month. The Broncos bemoaned a dozen dropped passes as the main reason they blew a 21-7 lead in that game. Might have been at least partially true, but the Steelers certainly didn't like the Broncos saying it. But as important as Denver's drops were Cordell's completions against a defense stacked to put the brakes on the bus. Joining us now from Pittsburgh is Andrea Kramer. Cordell Stewart made Denver pay in the regular season, but new territory for both of the Steelers' main offensive threats in the playoffs, Andrea.
You're exactly right, Reese. Remember 2 years ago when the Steelers made it to this point and ultimately to the Super Bowl, Jerome Bettis was a Ram. Cordell Stewart was known as Slash. Now, all week long, his teammates have talked about how, yes, Cordell has played in big games. He engineered 7 comeback wins this season, but he's shown a tremendous amount of poise for being just 1 game away from being the first quarterback to make it to the Super Bowl in his first season as a starter.
We talked about it, and because he told me, congratulations, this will be your first time playing. And I told him, congratulations, your first time playing. So we kind of joked about that a little bit because, his situation was a lot different, when he was in this game. And I told him that, hey, we just got to go out there and carry the load and do what we've been doing all year long.
I don't think he's looking at this game as a bigger game as far as his anticipation, his nervousness, his calmness. I think he'll be the same quarterback he's been all year.
The big thing is now that I guess a first-year quarterback hasn't made it to the Super Bowl, and he's out to prove some people wrong.
I remember when I had the opportunity to be announced as the starting quarterback of this team, I made a statement by saying that, hey, we want to go out and win right now as opposed to waiting 2 or 3 years down the road. We're supposed to be here right now, but, we still have to play against the Broncos in order to achieve all the things that I hope to achieve.
He certainly has had a very good year, and it's a credit to him because, he has really prepared. He wanted this opportunity, and more than anything else, the work that he's put into it has allowed him to have the success he's had.
Cordell Stewart's main target, Pro Bowl wide receiver Yancey Thigpen, has been bothered by a sore foot all week. He told me after practice today that if it did affect him at all, it would be getting in and out of his breaks and making cuts. He said straight ahead he didn't think it would be a problem. He also said that if he needed to, he would take a shot, and he thought that it wouldn't bother him at all early in the game, but only in the latter stages. Bill Cowher told me, you know what? He's got 6 months to heal. I think he'll be fine. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers just finished meeting the media. The Denver Broncos were scheduled to go at about 8 o'clock tonight, but because Mike Shanahan wanted to have a normal Friday day of practice, they aren't getting in until 10:45 tonight, so they will have their media commitments tomorrow morning, and we'll have all that for you on SportsCenter. Reese, back to you.
All right, Andrea, we'll look forward to it. Last season, Jerry Jones said he thought Barry Switzer would be coaching the Cowboys 10 years from now. Time flies after you have a losing season. Today, Jones began another thought process. Our cover story tonight, Switzer's stormy era in Dallas.
Today, I can say without question, this is the happiest day of my professional career and tenure is to be the head football coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas dominates the news, but who will dominate the NFC? Likely he who dominates the line of scrimmage and takes advantage of opportunities. 49ers and Pack preview coming up, and it might not be flying like an eagle, but it's certainly rolling like one. A luxury ride for the Mercedes for Tiger. What Baron Davis drives has been questioned. How he flies will not be in night lights.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Office Depot. Business is crazy, but Office Depot makes sense.
We drive family sedans, 4x4s, and small city cars. But when we roll the window down, we all feel the same warm spring wind. read reports, talk to friends, look under the hood. But when we sign the paperwork, we all wonder, is it reliable? Will it last? We carry groceries, we carry lumber, we carry life. And we all want to feel safe doing it. Making a lot of different cars and trucks makes us, well, a car company. Making them all deliver the things that matter most makes us GM. The company you count on wherever life takes you. General Motors, people in motion.
Went to the mall. I like to write stories. They're important because if everybody wrote, everybody would have a bigger imagination. I could design a rocket ship. I could take paper airplanes and on the inside tape them together. My pictures are very important to my dad because when I tell him that I love him with a picture, he can keep it forever.
International Paper. We answer to the world.
Dilbert for Office Depot.
Dilbert, I'd like you to meet Ben, our newest fast-track manager.
Hi.
Ben has no real experience, but he's very tall, so we know he'll go far.
I also have executive-style hair.
We think it will turn silver.
Business doesn't always make sense, but Office Depot does. With over 7,000 different office products, plus guaranteed low prices and free delivery on any order over $50. Business is crazy, but Office Depot makes sense.
Night Lights is brought to you by Walmart. Always low prices. Always Walmart.
And then they throw it right to JR, and here they come again. Watson again. Oh. Look at this. Oh! Barry Davis!
George Walton said the ability for players to block up.
Barry Davis! And Jelani finishes. Drive by Savage, he scores! 4 for Brian Savage.
Washington has never led in the game. Bondra moves in, and he scores! What a rocket by Peter Bondra!
Round 2 of the Mercedes Championship at La Costa. A lot of rain today, 2 hours and 7 minutes. The delay, Nick Faldo, he was practicing a one-handed putting stroke, and he would need that later on. When play resumed, here's Faldo on number 5, the approach shot. He's looking, within 4 feet of the hole. Then Faldo for birdie. What about that blade? Oh, misses the short putt. And then Faldo for tap in. Let's go back to that one-handed stuff, huh? He had an easy birdie, turned into a bogey. Tiger Woods, defending champion, 3rd shot from the fringe on 5, putting with a metal wood there to within an inch. Oh, how did that not go in? John Cook came in as the leader, would finish as the leader with shots like that. The chip from the fringe on 7. He was 10 under through 7, but again, play suspended for the birds today. That was the weather situation. Nobody out on the course because of the rain, and John Cook is the leader, but he's obviously got work to do to finish up his second round. He's at 10 under par. Phil Mickelson is at 8 under par. The Tiger -6. The defending champion still with 4 holes left to play in this round, and David Duval is going for 4 in a row, going back to last year. He is also at 6 under par. You can catch 3rd round coverage, weather permitting, of the Mercedes tomorrow, 2 p.m. on ABC. On the Nike Tour, the Lakeland Classic, Michael Clark and 3 others deadlocked at 9 under par. Casey Martin, he's the guy who's fighting for the use of a cart to battle reduced blood flow in his right leg. He is at 7 under par. Bob?
Tests today in Sydney, Australia confirmed that it was a prohibited human growth hormone seized yesterday from the baggage of a Chinese swimmer. The swimmer and her coach left Australia, where the World Swimming Championships begin this weekend. Meanwhile, today in Germany, a former East German Olympic swim champion told a local magazine she has severe heart and liver problems from using illegal performance-enhancing drugs. Petra Kins-Schneider said she was given the steroids continuously from the age of 14. We continue. We've got a question. When is a technical not a technical? When Rod Thorne watches SportsCenter. Something started this disagreement, but something else got whistled. We've got the story coming up.
She kicks, she shoots, she kills, and she looks darn good doing it. TV Guide calls La Femme Nikita captivating. Boston thinks Peter Wilson is striking. Chicago calls her a high-caliber action star. And the New York Times raves swift, engrossing, and escapist. The sexiest secret agent on TV isn't a secret anymore. La Femme Nikita. Sunday nights at 10 on USA Network.
Nature carved out 3 perfect mountains in northern Vermont just for the adventure of it. And when you're talking adventure, you're talking Smuggler's Notch, the #1 family resort in North America. This slopeside resort village is the home of top-ranked Snow Sport University, where everyone from beginners to experts can improve their skills. Bring the whole family just for the fun of it.
Mountains of adventure, mountains of fun, Smuggler's Notch.
It's all-out action in the ACC. First at noon, a war in the Wolfpack's den. C.C. Harrison matches moves with Maryland's LaRon Prophet. Then at 7:30, Titans clash in Seminole Country. Wojo directs Duke's dynamic offense against Terrell Baker and speedy Florida State. Maryland, NC State at noon, Duke, Florida State at 7:30. Tomorrow, only on ESPN.
Former Celtic star Dennis Johnson will not face charges for allegedly threatening his wife with a knife. Prosecutors in Florida have dropped the case after Johnson's wife refused to press charges. Donna Johnson was not injured in the incident. Usually when Rod Thorne reviews tape of Dennis Rodman, it ends up costing Worm money. But this time, Rodman could be in line for a rebate. Thorne says he'll review tapes, and if Worm's elbow against Alonzo Mourning Wednesday night was retaliation, he'll retract the T and the $500 fine that goes with it. Previously, Thorne had only seen the altercation on SportsCenter. Former Knicks coach Red Holzman is in a Long Island hospital battling leukemia, according to the New York Post. Close friends told the Post the 77-year-old had been suffering from fatigue lately. With 696 victories in 18 seasons, the Hall of Famer ranks 11th on the NBA's list of all-time winningest coaches. Holzman, who could be released from the hospital this weekend, has been a consultant with the Knicks since 1982. Still ahead on the Center. More football for you. Packers jumped all over the Niners in the playoffs last year. San Francisco's plan to jump on Favre in the pack coming your way after the break.
Got a lot of things on your plate lately? How do you keep everything straight? At a glance, organizers, calendars, and planners. Your life, your way. At a glance.
Want to exercise your right to shop? Now is the best time to buy fitness equipment at Sears.
Want the best deal running?
All treadmills are on sale. There's tons to choose from, like the Space Saver model for just $588.88. Get in shape. Get $111 off. So keep those New Year's resolutions. You'll pay less and weigh less. That'll work out. Yep, now is the best time to buy. Only at Sears.
You're going to want to wear comfortable shoes.
I am mushroom. I have faced the abyss. I am pepperoni. I have defied boundaries. I am green peppers. I have ventured to the brink. I am mouth-watering toppings that go right to the edge. The Edge Pizza from Pizza Hut. Available in 4 delicious recipes. Chicken veggie, meaty, the works, and a veggie loaded with a half pound of savory vegetables. Each with 16 pieces of succulent toppings. $8.99 is all you need to join them as they yell with one strong voice. I am the Edge Pizza. Hear me roar. Millions of Americans have been to the Edge. Have you?
Wow, you really got your hands full. How do you make it look so easy? At a glance, organizers, calendars, and planners. Your life, your way. At a glance. Ooh, dinner.
The ESPY Awards, the biggest night in sports and entertainment where the best are celebrated. Brett Favre,
Eric Lindros, Michael Jordan.
In its 6th year, the ESPYs will be held in Radio City Music Hall on Monday night, February 9th, with pregame coverage starting at 7:30 p.m., showtime at 8 p.m. Eastern. Presented by General Motors and Pennzoil, it's the show that asks you, the fan, to be the judge. Here we go. Today's category, NBA Play of the Year. Play 1, a preseason treat as Laker Kobe Bryant set sail for the slam dunk against the Wizards.
Bryant, change of direction by Bryant, slam dunk. Woo!
I think that's what the fans came to see. And you talk about elevation. Chick, he went up to the rafters before he decided to put somebody on a poster.
Play 2, a coach's chalkboard dream as Grant Hill hooks up with Lindsey Hunter to force overtime in Boston.
Pistons trying for a last-second shot. Lob inside. Oh! Is it up and in? Can you believe that happened? Count it! Count it! Count it! Wow!
Excellent diagramming and execution of the only play that you had at your availability.
Play 3, more heroics to force OT as reckless Rex Chapman cans the wild three-pointer as the Suns try to stave off elimination from the Sonics.
Chapman for the tie!
Here's that leader again. Once he squared those shoulders. Oh, no. Rex, you called it just like the number on your back.
Play 4, John Stockton sending the Utah Jazz to their first ever NBA Finals.
Oh, he'll get got a shot. Here's the three for the game. They go to Chicago. Utah goes to Chicago. Stockton hits the three. It's over. The Jazz are coming to Chicago.
To recap, play 1, Kobe Bryant. Play 2, Grant Hill to Lindsey Hunter. Play 3, Rex Chapman. And play 4, John Stockton.
This is the serious portion of the program.
In case you've forgotten, here's how it goes. Cast your ballots on the internet at ESPN.com or by calling 1-900-976-ESPN on your touchtone phone. Each call will carry a 95-cent charge. Callers must be 18 years of age or have their parents' permission. So go ahead, exercise your right to vote and be a part of this year's ESPYs. A portion of the proceeds of this year's show will benefit the V Foundation for Cancer Research.
When SportsCenter continues, Antonio Freeman, right place, right time last year for the Packers. We'll preview the NFC title game. Whether Barry was ever right for the Cowboys is debatable. The end of his run in Big D. That's tonight's cover story coming up.
New family members mean new responsibilities and new needs for life insurance protection. Why not drop in on your MetLife representative who will help make sense of it all for you and your family? Get Met. It pays.
Why do I come out here? Because the playing field's level, but the stairs never are. Because if I can't get frost-brewed Coors Light to the fans cold, those guys in the Rockies froze their butts for nothing. So I scale concrete every night. Because somewhere there's a guy eating peanuts or some nachos, and he's thinking of me. Coors Light! Coors Light!
Black and white's raw, and that's what our sport is. We're tough. The guys are tough out there, and we're not running a beauty pageant.
A woman who might say, ooh, the violence, ooh, it's cold, are going to say, hey, look at the tan on that guy. This is all in the fine-tuning.
East meets West when college football's top seniors showcase their skills in the country's oldest all-star game. The East-West Shrine Football Classic, presented by Buick. Tomorrow at 4, only on ESPN.
Steve Mariucci grew up as a kid near Green Bay watching Lombardi's Packers play smash-mouth football. But he made his name in the NFL as a quarterbacks coach, a guru with a degree in the West Coast offense, the passing game. However, in his first season as head coach of the 49ers, Mariucci didn't go to more aerial fireworks. He went back to the old power game, old Packer football, which he hopes will beat the Packers this Sunday. Sal Palantonio has more from San Francisco.
Yes, Garrison Hurst has been medically cleared to play for the first time in a month, but the 49ers plan to use a multi-dimensional running attack Sunday against Green Bay. Hurst, Terry Kirby, and William Floyd behind a beefed-up offensive line designed specifically to beat the Packers, who have won 3 straight against San Francisco.
Last year, I think they didn't respect our running game at all, and they came out and played us in nickel the entire game, and that's, you know, for us, that's kind of like an insult.
Last year, I don't think we were as two-dimensional as we are now, you know. We can run the ball now. We've established that we can run the ball. Now we will run the ball.
They'd better. Losing to the Packers in the playoffs 2 years ago, the Niners had just 87 yards on the ground. Last year in the playoffs, just 68 yards rushing. But this season, the Packers have been less than sharp against the run, giving up 117 yards a game, 20th in the league.
I think we can run some plays that are going to be significant on the outside because, you know, what's probably hampered their running game more, run defense more than anything is injuries. So they got guys back healthy at some spots. So I think, you know, we're going to expect that big Packer push up the middle.
In running the football, you're chewing up some clock. Your time of possession is up. Brett Favre is watching the game. He's not thrown a touchdown pass from the sideline yet. 2 important items on the injury front. Rod Woodson practiced for the first time today all week. He said he felt fine, and after practice he had an ice bag on his injured left calf. He'll take Saturday off and see how it goes on Sunday. But more important, tight end Brent Jones left practice midway through today with an injured right calf. He's being examined by Dr. Michael Dillingham in Palo Alto, and we'll have more about his status later on tonight. Reporting from Santa Clara, Sal Palantonio, ESPN.
Thanks, Sal. The Niners and the Packers run the same offense. Their quarterback stats are like a mirror image. In the playoffs, both Steve Young and Brett Favre, lifetime, have completed over 60%, both over 2,600 yards, with a passing rating just 1 point apart. Bob?
And this Friday evening before the conference championships, most of the football talk right now revolves around a team on the outside looking in, the Dallas Cowboys. Barry Switzer officially today tendering his resignation. He walked before he was about to be booted out in Dallas. Owner Jerry Jones reiterating that he is in charge of all football operations and he will take his time now, picking his 3rd coach in 6 seasons.
It has always been my responsibility to make sure that we take every step to be a Super Bowl contender. As a result, I'm eagerly looking forward to the challenge and the return of competing at that level. As we approach next year, I believe that we'll be able to field a team that will be very capable of challenging for a Super Bowl berth. I have had the feeling in each of the past 6 years, that is our goal next year. That is our goal every year. Why we have not achieved that goal in the past 2 seasons is a burden that every member of this organization shares. It is certainly not something that can be laid at the feet of any one individual.
Bud Switzer did leave today. More today on the top story. Chris Mortensen rejoins us live from San Francisco. Mort, you just happen to be in San Francisco to cover the NFC game, but that might be the dateline where one of the prime candidates to fill that job comes from. What gives with the list?
Well, I mean, obviously, George Seifert, the ex-49ers coach's name, is going to be mentioned. I had an opportunity to speak with Seifert this week. He is open to visit with any team, including the Cowboys, if Jerry Jones wants to do that. I just don't see this as a match for George Seifert because, as Jerry said today, whoever is his next coach is going to have to take some of those assistants. I don't see Seifert doing it under those circumstances. He would love to have Norv Turner. The Washington Redskins are not going to let Norv Turner out of his contract. So it comes down to this. Remember the name Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz and Jerry Jones are very close. He's been in Jerry Jones' shortlist throughout the process. Jerry Jones is always full of surprises, so you cannot rule out a Lou Holtz or ex-UCLA coach Terry Donahue. I know this much. Jerry likes surprises, Bob. I would expect a little bit of a 1 on this one.
You just surprised me with Lou Holtz. Let's get back to something we knew about was going to happen, which was Switzer was going to go. It was a real-life version of the soap opera Dallas, but when did this become untenable for Barry Switzer?
Well, I think at midseason. Jerry Jones actually contemplated a change at midseason, went through the process and decided it would be too disruptive to do that. And then I think the profoundness of their collapse, losing 5 straight games at the end of the season, he knew for certain then that this was to be a total clean out, especially of the offensive staff and Barry Switzer. And Bob, I think that he probably has pretty much thought this one out since mid-October, let's say.
And he read from a prepared statement today. Thanks, Mort. We'll see you Sunday on Countdown.
All right, Bob.
Switzer's expected departure, our top story on SportsCenter. Also on this Friday evening, another decision seen as inevitable. Charles Woodson of Michigan declaring for the National Football League draft, where he may well be one of the top 3 players selected in mid-April in the NFL. Vaughn of the Red Sox pleading innocent today to charges of DUI in Massachusetts. The night after police say he hit a parked car in an interstate and flipped his truck. Vaughn was not seriously injured.
Seattle Seahawks running back Lamar Smith was the driver of the car that crashed on December 1st, 1994, leaving his then teammate Mike Fryer paralyzed, probably for life. Smith had been drinking that night. Today, Smith pleaded guilty to vehicular assault. Smith expected to serve anywhere from 3 to 9 months in jail. Under a previous settlement, Smith will make payments from his NFL contract to help Fryer. Said Smith, "I put him in that chair. That night I made a terrible decision. I was out drinking." When SportsCenter continues, Alanto Spellman's job is to sack the quarterback, but today he put the hit on his own team for some big money. Steve Young, 100% healthy for this meeting with the Pack. Will he scramble his way to the Super Bowl? Plus, Barry's run in Dallas. Well, that's over. We'll review Switzer's highs and lows in tonight's cover story.
Want to exercise your right to shop? Now is the best time to buy fitness equipment at Sears.
Want the best deal running?
All treadmills are on sale. There's tons to choose from, like the Space Saver model for just $588.88. Get in shape. Get $111 off. So keep those New Year's resolutions. You'll pay less and weigh less. That'll work out. Yep, now is the best time to buy. Only at Sears. You're going to want to wear comfortable shoes.
I'm a numbers guy. Don't give me words. Give me a number. One day, Up John invites me to help test the new Rogaine. I hated losing my hair. I said yes. They tell me this new Rogaine Extra Strength for men is more concentrated. It gets more to the root to grow more hair. Don't give me the more. Give me the number. Yeah, I am seeing hair, but give me the number. They give us the number. 45% more hair than with original Rogaine. 45% more hair with the new Rogaine. I say, give me the Rogaine.
The worst was I'd be at a party and someone would light up a cigarette and that cigarette would look like filet mignon to me. My mouth would practically water. Without Nicorette gum, I could never have quit. I could chew a piece when I needed it and I would regain control and it would soothe my cravings fast. After a piece of Nicorette, a cigarette would only look like Top Round to me. And that I could resist.
Nicorette gum helps you fight your cravings, your habit, your way. You can do it. Nicorette can help.
Vacation travelers know that when it comes to renting a car, there's really only one place to go. National Car Rental. Especially if you're going on a Walt Disney World vacation. Because as the official car rental company of Walt Disney World, National gets you in your car and on the road fast. For a family vacation you'll never forget. So what are you waiting for? Let's go to Walt Disney World with National Car Rental. Let's go!
His turbulent tenure was marked by a Super Bowl championship, a losing season, and off-the-field scrapes with the law too numerous to list here. The Barry Switzer saga is over in Dallas. Officially, it was called a resignation. The man who pulls the trigger on anyone headed into or out of a Cowboy saddle, Jerry Jones, was Chris Meyer's guest earlier today on Up Close.
Jerry Jones told me on Up Close that he does have a plan for the hiring of his next head coach, and he does have his own list of candidates. He's not under any specific time frame, and it will be Jerry who makes the call. The one thing he doesn't want is a repeat performance of the strained relationship his coach and quarterback had. Jones admitted he learned from the hiring of Barry Switzer that a coach can't come into a new job without the total respect of the Cowboy players, especially Troy Aikman.
Under any circumstances, I would consult with Troy regarding what we might be going to do as it might directly affect him. I'm talking about the offensive scheme or what we might be wanting to do offensively. I think that's common and should be understood. Troy's been very clear with me, though. He does not want any input at all and will run from any input as far as ultimately selecting a head coach.
Aikman's former head coach at UCLA, Terry Donahue, recently said here on Up Close that if the Cowboy job were to open up, he would be interested. Friday, an official in the Cowboy organization told me that right now, Donahue would be the leading candidate. As for Switzer's exit, there is still some question whether he was forced out or resigned on his own. I asked Jones if Switzer wanted to be back, would he have indeed returned?
Certainly after our year that we've had this year, it would be expected me to be in a real evaluation process, and that's where I was, in the evaluation process. So I think that the way it's turned out is good. He's made that decision, and I concur with it.
Jones said one of the characteristics of the Cowboys' next head coach is he must be a positive, energetic type who will defer to Jones on all personnel decisions. Sounds a little like what he got when he hired Barry Switzer 4 years ago. I'm Chris Myers from the Up Close Studios in Los Angeles.
All right, Chris, thanks a lot. Alanto Spellman didn't want shoulder surgery, nor did he want the Bears to make an incision into his hip pocket. The Bears now be forced to put away their scalpel. And Chris Berman's incisive analysis into the NFC Championship games coming up in the 2-minute drill.
January's the month to break free of everyday TV. Watch Showtime's free preview. Experience the possibilities January 16th to 19th. Hollywood hits like Jerry Maguire and The Mirror Has Two Faces. And for 100% pure fun, 100% pure movies, the Movie Channel's 100% free preview. See what 100% pure fun is all about January 12th to 15th. The Birdcage and Get Shorty. Mark your calendar. The 16th to 19th at Showtime, the 12th to 15th, it's the Movie Channel. And it's free.
What do you do when your favorite chair or sofa starts to sag? Introducing Save-A Sofa. Just place Save-A Sofa under your cushion and it's as good as new, perfectly firm and wonderfully comfortable. Save-A Sofa is made of high-quality furniture-grade wood product panels covered with durable slip-resistant fabric. Turn that sorry sofa into a sharp showpiece. Turn that cheerless chair into a family favorite.
For as little as $14.95, you can give your furniture a whole new life. So why don't you call now?
ESPN Magazine is gonna be fat, but please, no swimsuits.
Yeah, no bikinis.
No one pieces.
No thongs.
None of that.
All nude.
Tastefully done.
But definitely all nude.
That's important.
Very important.
Yeah.
To be tasteful.
More news from the NFL. Alanto Spellman had the first of his 2 fines and suspensions overturned. An arbitrator overturned his 3-game ban from the Chicago Bears for refusing to undergo shoulder surgery. That, according to the Chicago Sun-Times. Spellman will get more than $250,000 returned in salary. He had missed 6 weeks when the Bears wanted him to be scoped, and he said no. Spellman is also appealing an NFL steroid test and a suspension there, saying he had passed a privately administered test.
Any player or coach who's won a Super Bowl will tell you that defending that title is tougher than winning it the first time. And Green Bay's job got a lot tougher even before it got started. The Pack lost starting running back Edgar Bennett to a knee injury. That was in the preseason. So thrust into the spotlight was Dorsey Levens. Dorsey Levens, all he did was run wild for over 1,400 yards and 7 TDs. Well, can the Niners stop Dorsey on Sunday? Getting set for Championship Sunday. Here's Chris Berman with his 2-minute drill.
We have done countless road schwams during championship week from right here at 49ers headquarters, but we haven't been here in 3 years. The Niners haven't been this far in the playoffs since they won the Super Bowl in '94. And the team that knocked it from its perch is either champ or #1 contender, the Packers. Remember the '95 divisional playoffs? First play from scrimmage for San Francisco, it's a fumble! Scooped up by Craig Newsome, touchdown. Next 2 offensive series for the Packers. Favre to Keith Jackson, Warnelli, touchdown. Favre to Shimura, touchdown. 21-0 early, was over 27-17. This Sunday, San Francisco has a chance to reacquire its old position.
From where we started crawling when we were back in the summertime, we were, like babes in the woods, and we've come back and played some pretty good football. Now we're knocking on the door.
It's been a tough haul. I mean, especially all the things we've had to overcome this year. But we're back, we're at home, and it'll be exciting.
Sunday could be the end of the line for 3 great San Francisco Warriors, although Gary Plummer, 15 years of pro, including 3 years in the USFL, says he wants to come back next season. But it could be the end for Jesse Sapulu, the last holdover from the '84 championship Niner team, and Brent Jones. 12 years of brilliant career, 4 times a Pro Bowler, great target for Steve Young. Could this be his final 60 minutes?
I never thought about it till last week. Playoffs, you lose and you're out, so we're playing the Vikings, and I'm thinking, out at practice, this could be the last time I'm on the practice field. This could be the last time I'm in the locker room, out at 3Com, and you start looking around and thinking, I better smell some of these roses, because you just don't know if you're going to be back out there.
You know what? I'm not ready. I talked to my wife, talked to the coaches, teammates, and they all said, if you want to come back, then come back. And so I figure I don't have any other skills, Chris. I think I'm going to stay here and try this one another year.
Talk about a battle royale. How about a 700-pound slammer between Gilbert Brown and Kevin Gogan? Will the earth move?
I hope not. We're in a sinkhole around here, but he
He's a very good player. I'm a little nervous about the matchup. I think it's going to be very enjoyable.
Gogan knows what it's like to defend a Super Bowl crown. He did it in Dallas. Some of the veteran Niners did it between 88 and 89, but it is tough. The Packers, it took them half a year to realize how tough it really is.
Last year, I think we were really good, and before people realized it, it was too late. It was like, oh, hey, these guys are for real. You know, they're just not blowing teams out for the heck of it. So this year we played teams, and they go, hey, Super Bowl champions, you want to make a statement?
Those first 7 games were, you know, the learning process. I mean, it was rough. It was rough going. And then we get to the bye week, and then we hit with New England. And, you know, it seemed like there was a refreshed attitude, kind of out of the woods.
The Swami is finding how tough the playoffs are. 1-2-1 last week, 2-5-1 this postseason. We have rarely seen anything like this in the championship games. By the time Sunday goes off, it's possible neither home team could be favored. In the previous 14 years, dating back to 1983, it's only happened twice. 88 in the NFC title game, San Francisco was a pick on the road. They skated to a 28-3 win over the Bears. In 92, Miami was a 2.5-point underdog at home. They lost to Buffalo 29-10. And in those 28 games, home teams 22, road teams 6. Last home teams to lose title games you had to have. 94 AFC, Pittsburgh, 92 NFC, San Francisco. So, does it happen again? The Swami says no. Pittsburgh rediscovers its offense just in time. The bus rumbles for a tough 100 yards. Steelers 23, Broncos 20. This game, ooh, that is tough. But the 49ers veterans on defense dig deep, and Steve Young, a performance for the ages. Niners 24, Packers 22. If you're not ready for some football this weekend, check your pulse.
All right, Boomer and friends will get you ready for kickoff with NFL Countdown Sunday morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and nobody breaks down the highlights better than prime time at 7:30 in the evening, only on ESPN. When SportsCenter continues, this season left Barry and the Cowboys with a sour taste. What went wrong for the boys? That's coming up in tonight's cover story.
Hey, Santa really messed up. He gave out lots of computers, exposing everyone to computer viruses. Listen, you need some of this. This saved Santa's hard drive when he got his virus. And that is a big hard drive. We'd bring it to you, but we don't get out for another year. He doesn't like us overnighting with anyone else. Don't tell the old man. We're the ones that told you, okay? It ain't like there's a lot of elf jobs out there.
McAfee Virus Scan, $29.95 at Staples and other fine retailers.
Look, can't you be more efficient? Just keep it simple, okay?
Relax, pal. You're making me nervous. You need Office Max, the office product superstore with guaranteed low prices on over 7,000 office products.
Folks, we'll be delayed till storms in the Chicago.
Don't sweat it, pal. You can save time and money at Office Max. Hey, are you gonna eat those? And don't forget, Office Max carries a huge selection of brand name furniture for every home or office. Office Max, we go to the max for you.
You know all those stories you hear about how good it was and how much fun we had and how young we all used to be, about how much it all mattered and how much we all cared and how no one has ever done it higher or faster or harder or better. All those stories you hear, they're all true.
Barry Switzer resigned today. It was the honorable way out of a bad situation. As Chris Mortensen reported earlier, Jerry Jones had decided by midseason that Switzer had to go. When Jones first arrived in Dallas, he sent Tom Landry out to pasture, and then he fired Jimmy Johnson when it became clear that the town and the team not just big enough for both of them. And today he essentially fired Barry Switzer, this bootlegger's boy from Crossett, Arkansas, who knew the score walking into Dallas, but he may not have suspected it would end this way. And that is tonight's cover story.
We did it our way, baby! We did it! We did it! We did it!
There's good news. We won the Super Bowl, and there's bad news. I won't be back next year.
And there, among the tortured relationships and broken dreams, lies the legacy of Barry Switzer's time in Dallas. Working with Jerry Jones could be seen as an exercise in volatility, but this alliance was with his friend and former college coach. Switzer at the time was damaged goods, 5 years removed from a brilliant college career at Oklahoma that ended in scandal. Jones handed him the keys to the sleekest car imaginable, the two-time defending Super Bowl champions.
Today, I can say without question, this is the happiest day of my professional career and tenure is to be the head football coach of the Dallas Cowboys. We got a job to do, and we're going to do it, baby!
The exuberance echoed into the coaching vacancy created when Jones fired Jimmy Johnson. Theirs was a titanic struggle of egos and control. In Switzer, Jones hired not an NFL savant nor a general manager, simply a coach.
My motivation would be win them all, go win the Super Bowl, then I'm going to go to camp and I'm going to ride around in a golf cart, and I don't care what you guys, the media, anybody says.
What could have been the best job in the world evolved into life under a microscope, magnified by a playoff loss in his first year to the San Francisco 49ers.
I take full responsibility. I told him, hey, it's my game. I lost the damn thing. Give it to me, but hey, get it out of your system, whatever you want. Let's get our ass ready to go play the Oakland Raiders.
Switzer had essentially coached Jimmy Johnson's personnel. The next year, that was also the case, and Switzer won Super Bowl 30. Switzer's finest hour unraveled into a near-weekly soap opera. The activist owner, the edgy coach, while the free market ravages of the NFL salary cap turned America's team into America's blue light special. The Cowboys signed only 7 free agents in the Switzer era. They lost 31, including 3 who have since made 5 Pro Bowl appearances. This team, built with Jerry Jones' money and Jimmy Johnson's decisions, grew into a team drafted with Jones calling the shots. Those last 4 drafts produced just 6 starters for the '97 team and only 1 Pro Bowl player in that time. By contrast, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Switzer's Super Bowl victim, lost players such as Neil O'Donnell, Kevin Green, Rod Woodson, and Chad Brown, but found equal, if not better, replacements. When Bam Morris was arrested on marijuana charges, the Steelers released him.
It's an honor, it's a privilege to play for the Cowboys.
But in Dallas, problems stayed on the payroll. Michael Irvin's cocaine arrest under sordid circumstances led to a 5-game NFL suspension. Drug suspensions for Leon Lett, his second, Shante Carver, Clayton Holmes, and Corey Fleming. DUI arrests for Fleming and Eric Williams.
My God, I didn't take that pistol out of my bag.
Switzer's arrest for gun possession in an airport completed the image of a team out of control. Jones responded by fining Switzer $75,000 and installing security in team training dorms, trying to inject order into chaos. But after a 3-1 start in '97, the Cowboys quickly descended into mediocrity. Emmitt Smith had his smallest number of yards and rushes since his rookie season, behind an offensive line that started 8 different players during the year. Troy Aikman never threw so many passes, and his rating was his lowest since the Cowboys' last losing season.
It's same old, same old. They know why we lost the ball game.
If you want to ask me, am I disappointed? Man, I am totally disappointed with this season. Totally disappointed. As everybody in the locker room's been disappointed with the way things have gone.
While the media vultures circled, Switzer's exit visa was punched with 5 straight losses to end the season.
And Barry Switzer walks off, maybe for the final time as the head coach of that man's team, Jerry Jones.
You guys don't run the Cowboys. Jerry Jones runs the Cowboys.
Jones days ago had said any coaching decision was weeks away.
In terms of timing, it was the #1 priority on the field. Players. And in terms of timing, it was the #1 priority of anything we did in the organization.
That day, fullback Daryl Johnston said Switzer would not return.
But one of the things that people have to realize is what happened to the Dallas Cowboys this year is not one person's responsibility. I think the responsibility has to fall on the shoulders of everybody involved.
But it falls first and most heavily on the coach, who leaves with a ring and the memories of what that ring really cost. Well, the ring came in Super Bowl 30. How does 6-10 this year, 2 seasons later, compare among the meltdowns in league history? And it's right up there. Last year, the Cowboys missed the NFC title game for the first time in 5 years. This year, they share the 4th worst 2-year decline from Super Bowl championship ever. More now on the Cowboy change. Reese Davis standing by with our NFL analyst, Ron Jaworski.
All right, Bob, thanks a lot. And Ron, you know, so much has been made of the trouble that the Cowboys have had off the field during the Barry Switzer era. This season, as you've broken down film, what's the Cowboys' biggest problem has been on the field?
Well, clearly to me it was the lack of consistency in the offensive line. And in the past, the offense, and particularly the offensive line, is what fueled the Dallas Cowboys. You know, and I always thought they got points early. And the numbers really bear that out. And they played in the known situations. They played with the lead. This year they were very ineffective in getting points on the board early. And it started with the offensive line. And when you look at the Cowboys, they're a timing and rhythm passing game. And Troy Aikman just didn't get the time to throw the football down the field. And consequently, they didn't get points.
And speaking of that, one of the things that some of the players have complained about over the past couple of years, poor practices, lack of discipline, and the offensive line that showed sometimes against the blitz, maybe?
Reese, absolutely correct. And, you know, I don't go to the Cowboys practice every day. I don't know how their work ethic is. I don't know how they coach. But when I look at the coach's video, I see mistakes being made on a continual basis. And that shows me a lack of discipline and at times maybe even poor coaching or maybe even dumb players. I mean, you got to put it all, maybe all into one basket. And you go back to earlier in the season, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Chicago Bears really got after the Cowboys with blitz. And guys are coming in clean. Aikman was taking all kinds of hits. They were missing pickups. And that went on throughout the entire season. And you know, when you make a mistake in blitz pickup, the teams stay with it. The Cowboys never corrected it.
The defense for the Cowboys actually played pretty well, second in total defense, but there were some missing parts, and the Cowboys sort of failed to replace some of the missing parts over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think if you look at the Cowboys this season, at least the one constant they have was their defense. I thought Dave Campbell did a real nice job with their scheme and with their ability. Secondary as good as there was any in football, but they had some injuries, and that hurt them later in the season. But I really believe their big loss was Charles Haley. In the National Football League, you have to have pass rush pressure, and not just a bull rush up the middle, the bull rush on the outside. You have to have that quick pass rush pressure to make the quarterback flinch. And they lost Charles Haley. They never replaced that. And they always had plotters, and the quarterback had time to work the ball down the field.
On a totally different subject, Ron, I know your name has come up for a job in the Eagles front office. Can you put a period on that talk for us?
Yes, I can. About 6 or 8 weeks ago, the Eagles had reported we're looking to make changes in their front office, a general manager, a director of player pro personnel, some changes to be made. I let it be known that if they were going to go in that direction, I did have an interest in the job. I spoke with Joe Banner, the Eagles executive vice president, yesterday. We had a wonderful discussion. I have great respect for what the Eagles are trying to do. Unfortunately for myself, I'm not in the plans, but fortunately for my real job at ESPN, this is where I'm going to stay, so I'm excited about that.
Well, it's our gain, Ron, and we'll see you this weekend on Edge NFL Matchup.
I'm pumped.
All right, and so are we. Immediately following, SportsCenter Outside the Lines presents Turf Wars, an examination of the links between pro athletes and gangs, how gang ties played a major role in the recruitment of the national championship team. That's coming up following SportsCenter.
Somewhere, a few miles from a trailhead, there is an owl who has been waiting his whole life to visit you at 3 in the morning and hoot. Humor him. The 1998 Isuzu Trooper, now with an advanced torque-on-demand traction system to help you discover a world that is large and is waiting.
He's not sent from the future. He doesn't fight in a ring. And he doesn't carry a gun.
Nice work!
But they started a fire in his backyard, and he's ready to take the heat. Now, hang on! Action goes long. Howie Long. You're still alive! Firestorm, rated R. Now playing only in theaters.
Imagine a place where you can see the college basketball games you really want to see. Order ESPN Full Court, ESPN's pay-per-view college basketball package, and we'll bring you hundreds of the games you've been missing, and all in your own backyard. To order, call your cable company or DirecTV at 1-800-GET-SPORTS.
The pyramid builders died of exhaustion. Instead of working in sensible shifts, they never watched hockey, and now they're dead. Watch the NHL on ESPN2 before life passes you by.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Firestorm from 20th Century Fox. Today, fight fire with fire.
Friday's major stories: Barry Switzer resigns from the Cowboys, no longer the right man for this time, according to Jerry Jones, who reiterates he's in charge of all football operations, taking his time on a replacement. Charles Woodson, Heisman winner, leaving Michigan a year early for the draft. Well, Vaughn of the Red Sox pleading innocent this morning to a charge of DUI after flipping his vehicle this morning on a Massachusetts interstate. He was not seriously injured.
And one more note before we go. The Atlanta Hawks have placed guard Mookie Blaylock on the injured list. He'll be out 10 to 14 days. He's had a lingering groin injury and leg problems. That'll do it for us. Next SportsCenter at 11 Eastern. Carl Ravitch and Gary Miller. For Reese Davis, I'm Larry Beil.
And I'm Bob Lee. Next up, we're proud to bring you an encore presentation of Outside the Lines, Turf Wars, Gangs, and Sports.
This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.